the Citizens Coalition feel like the Scholarship Authority Bill is being rushed, and therefore they are asking for a cooling. They are asking it to be cooled down. They want a slow down so that there will be broader discussion. So I'll speak to Kofi Asare about this. So why have the Citizens Coalition, or why are they saying that the new scholarships bill is not fit for purpose and must therefore be halted? Kofi Asare is a member of the coalition. They issued an urgent statement this morning asking for a suspension of the consideration of the Ghana Scholarships Authority Bill to allow for stakeholder consultation. Kofi, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bernard and team, and morning to your audience. 2
days ago, we discussed scholarships, and a lot of my listeners felt that we needed a new law to govern it. I spoke to Peter Nochukotoe, who said, in response to the way the scholarships have been manhandled, that this authority bill was going to streamline things and make it better. So why on earth are the Citizens Coalition unhappy with the bill in its present form?
The Citizens Coalition is happy that the government has taken a step to promulgate a law to properly manage our scholarship system. The Citizens Coalition acknowledges that the challenges in our scholarship system, as the government also appreciates, includes the cronyism and nepotism that has engulfed it, that it serves the political elite. It lacks meritorious or merit-based system. And then there are no checks and balances in the system. Okay? And apart from that also, it focuses more on foreign scholarships, even when programs are available in country. The final one is that there is a silo-based scholarship regime where we have so many public scholarship schemes running, on their own. And so there's a need to consolidate, which the president emphasized when he was making this promise. Unfortunately, when you look at the bill was only given to members of the Citizens Coalition yesterday. We have requested the Select Committee to give us a copy of the bill since last week Friday, but to no avail. So it's only yesterday afternoon that we had the opportunity of seeing the bill. And indeed, all the stakeholders I've spoken to, the NUCs and other academia, they still not seeing the bill. So how we got a bill, we did a quick review and then realized that, yes, it was a good first step in the process of legislating, but there was no need to rush through the consideration and pass the bill, because this is an opportunity so golden that to take our time, consult the key stakeholders, especially the beneficiaries, students, academia, civil society, development partners, those who have been running scholarship schemes, about the best global practice that can be brought to bear to make sure that we get this thing right once and for all. That is why we have said that.
So, what is the problem with the bill that you were shown yesterday?
The problem with the bill that we were shown yesterday is virtually legitimizes the status quo. The status quo is one that is executive influence, self-executive. Okay, and all this new bill it establishes, it gives legitimacy to the status quo by sharing the power from a group of executives, that is Scholar Secretariat, to another group of executives who board the scholarships. That is a board comprising Minister of Education, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Attorney General, etc. So you realize that it is a transfer of the power over who benefits from scholarships from one group of executives to the other group of people from the executive arm of government. The challenge is that if you do that, you will be doing the same thing and expecting different results. You won't get a different result. The global best practice dictates that faculties award scholarships or recommend people for scholarships. Faculties do that. The authorities normally regulate the award of scholarships. They set standards, criteria, guidelines, and ensure that the faculties conform in administering scholarships. And then they come in to ensure that there's quality assurance. But if you have a system where the executive arm of government is the same one approving scholarships, then you are not solving the problem. You are virtually, repeating the same thing that's currently existing. So that is part of the problem. The second is that if you look at the bill consolidates management power with the power of the board. Because for a board to be approving scholarships, then it means that the board is actually engaging in operational staff. That the management is more or less not existing. And so if you look critically at the bill, the third is that it doesn't solve the issue of amorphous scholarship regimes or the silo-based scholarship regimes we have. It doesn't make any provision to consolidate and bring all the various public scholarship schemes under the authority of the authority. That is not done. And yesterday, if you heard Honorable Sustu on the floor, you realize that it's a big flaw in the bill. And so if you read the memorandum of the bill, there's a huge disconnect between what the bill intends to achieve and what the bill is seeking to do. There's a huge gap. The consolidating bit is not there. And the most important aspect of the bill, the president said, was that it should cure cronyism and then also cure the process of politicians capturing the scholarship system. If you read the bill from head to toe, it is not addressed. And so we might end up pushing through a law with the speed of light just to tick a box, but may not solve the problem that it seeks to solve.
Were civil society's input taken in the development of this bill?
Well, I'm not aware of any consultative meeting that was held. I've engaged with academia, I've engaged with NUGS. I just spoke to the NUGS president right before your call. For all the CSOs, Media Foundation, the 4th Estate, we've done extensive work in scholarship research. Africa Education Works, we have also been doing reviews of scholarship for a long time. But I'm not aware of any civil society organization or development partner, that was consulted. We're not saying that compulsorily Africa Education must be consulted. No. We are not saying that compulsorily CED, Media Foundation for South Africa, etc., must be consulted. No. What we're saying is that if you are developing a bill of that nature, organizations that have long researched and invested in scholarship system review and improvement, it will be important to allow them to make an input so that it helps the government to realize the objective it seeks to realize with this bill. And most importantly, beneficiaries of scholarships, the students of Ghana, our faculty, the trained students, and all that, it's important that they have an opportunity to make a direct input into the bill, so that together with the input of the executive and the legislature, we can have a bill that serves the interests of all Ghanaians. That is what
the issue of the nature of the scholarship secretariat come up during the Education Review Committee's work, of which you were a member of.
Yes, scholarships came up, and everybody was worried that scholarships had been politicized and they were virtually a reward mechanism for party loyalists.
Did you make any recommendations as a committee on how the law should change?
I think there were some recommendations in that respect, but I'm unable to speak to the recommendations, as I said, because the report is still not out, it's still within the executive person. But drawing from the president's vision of reform, and the promise as espoused in his manifesto, in the NDC's manifesto, the bill in its current form doesn't address the problem that the president seeks to address, and it will not address the issue of cronyism or nepotism. It will not address the issue of amorphous or scattered scholarship regimes in the country. It will not address the opacity. It might rather reinforce the executive dominance by giving it a legal backing, and that is not part of the problems, part of the objectives that the president wants to seek with this bill.
So who are you appealing to, and how confident are you that the process will stop? Because as you said, this bill was being considered under a certificate of urgency. That suggests that they are really determined to push it through. And was it not for tiredness, probably would have been law as we speak. You've sent out a letter. Is it the speaker you're appealing to? Is it the leadership of the majority? What are you hoping to do between now and the time Parliament goes back?
Well, Parliament will go back today, 2 p.m. The coalition, we had our engagement yesterday night. We are engaging the speaker. We are engaging the speaker to stay the constitution process, to stagger it until consultations with key stakeholders are undertaken to enrich the content and then the content of the bill. And so this morning we'll be engaging Parliament. We've already the letter is on its way to the speaker, and we have no reason to disbelieve that the government is only interested in passing a bill to tick a box. we have reason to believe that the president is interested in really reforming the scholarship system and making it one that serves the ordinary man and not just the political elite. One that is accountable, transparent, one that is merit-based, and one that responds to the real needs of the challenges of the scholarship system in Ghana. And so we hope that Parliament will engage, will heed to our call, and then the Select Committee on Education lead in consultations with the student body, with the academia, and development partners that are involved in the scholarship space, so that we can have a bill that we can all be proud of, we can all own, guard, and ensure that its effective implementation cures the disease that His Excellency wants to cure.
All right. Thank you very much, Kofi Asare, for speaking to us. He's the Chief Executive of Africa Education Watch, but also a member of the Citizens Coalition, which is against the passage of the Scholarship Authority law in this current form. They agree with that we need a new law, but I think the law is not. I don't know if you've seen the snippets of the new law, if you agree with what he's saying.
I mean, I've read through and I totally agree with what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on the night of the day you shared with us, Bernard, I read through and I was telling you this morning, there's something that is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So first, there's a governing body that's put in place. You have the authority, you have the governing body with representatives from various ministries, education, finance, I believe foreign affairs. But certain things for me are missing. I do not understand how independent this kind of governance structure will be for the scholarship secretariat. The complaint is that you have cronies and family and friends of politicians or politically exposed persons benefiting. So it would have been interesting to see some kind of independent structure of the governing body in this bill. Also, you look at the clause on eligibility. Okay, and I think that's about clause 25. So if you go to clause 25 of the bill, it's talking about access to scholarship, eligibility criteria for award of scholarship. A person qualifies to apply for a scholarship under this act if the person is A, Ghanaian, B, brilliant but needy. I think this is also quite vague.
Okay.
So that my expectation is that there could be some kind of breakdown, as you would see perhaps with a scholarship from the UK or the US. What goes into brilliant but needy? But you would see an attempt at clause 27, consideration of application. It says, in assessing an application for scholarship under Section 26, consideration shall be given to academic excellence, financial need, leadership, extracurricular. This is all well and good. But the difficulty for me is that there could be gray areas in how this is implemented or executed. And you will still have that influence of politicians and politically exposed persons. Now, if you look at also, before I go there, so I've raised the issue of the independent structure of the scholarship. I also have a difficulty with the criteria, the selection criteria. Also, there isn't any kind of accountability. When are the scholarships open? I don't know that. It must be published. Okay. The whole process of opening the scholarship, people applying, and then the individuals who are selected, all this must be published, because there must be some kind of transparency which will be followed with accountability. So that for me is missing. All of it is shrouded in secrecy. Before you know, somebody says, I have a scholarship. And then if you go back to the eligibility criteria, all of us know somebody who benefited from the scholarships secretariat through a scholarship that was given, and the person has questionable academic record. But so those are some of the things. Now, the bit about the clause that focuses on the return of students who go for these scholarships. That's clause 31, and it addresses the refusal to return to the country after completion. Clause 1 of 30, clause 31 says that a person who benefits from scholarship under this act shall, after completion of the program of study, return to serve the country. A person who contravenes subsection 1 shall pay a refund, and also goes on to talk about interest. Okay, I feel that in order to nip that problem in the bud, because that's the reason why we are having a lot of trouble with the US visa changes. I think that there should be some kind of tracking. And I think the last time we discussed the US visa matter, Sky alluded to it. There must be some kind of tracking of the individuals the scholarships are giving to, right from their application, when they succeed, when they get into those countries. So it's not just about asking them to refund, but if you are able to track and monitor.
So you're saying that there's a lot more rigor that needs to go into the
There's
thing.
a lot more rigor.
And then the structure, and for Kofi, I said that the way it's structured does not still make it independent.
Yes. I have two more quick, so I'll make it quick.
A parliamentary question around what is feasible in Parliament.
So let me just make two quick additions. Also, from reading this, I do not see the national educational agenda that this bill is tied to. We had similar discussion when we were talking about the AI training.
It seems a standalone.
Yes, and also the prioritization of foreign degrees, some of which are being done here.
Correct.
So we need to look at that properly.
Yeah, so those are the two. Sky, my question to you is more on the parliamentary procedure side. So Kofi said they as civil society got the wind of this only yesterday. I think they got the bill yesterday. And then they realized that it was being treated as a bit of urgency. And they believe that the problem the bill is supposed to solve, it doesn't solve. Because we all know that the way scholarships are administered in this country makes the administrators answerable to political authority at the executive level with undue influence without parliamentary oversight. So they are asking for parliamentary oversight and a bit more independence so that the authority oversees the work of the various universities who will be doing the scholarships. If the speaker receives a letter like this signed by civil society asking for the process to be paused, typically what would he do? Does he have the discretion to say, yes, I will pause it, or will he ask the leadership what they think?
Well, so normally when bills like this are received, it's basically the government's request to the House to consider the matter under a certificate of urgency. The Speaker would receive that, but it is for the committee to determine whether indeed this bill qualifies to be considered under a certificate of urgency.
So that
yes.
So he will ask
he will refer. So for in this case, it will go to the Education Committee. Now the Education Committee, if he decides that he wants to add finance, he will do that. But the Education Committee must then determine whether this bill is of the nature as to be characterized as a bill requiring the urgent attention the government wants to give to it. It would then submit a report to the House. If the House believes that is a matter that requires urgent, approval, they will take that decision. Otherwise, it would be tried.
So they are considering it under a certificate of urgency, but it's possible for the committee to say, okay, we'll wait and listen to you.
Yeah,
and make some input before we proceed.
Okay, so in effect, when we say that the bill is to be treated under a certificate of urgency, what we're saying is that the normal schedules that an ordinary bill will pass through.
What are those normal schedules?
So, it is published in the Gazette, Parliament, that's what it has to do, inviting memoranda from the public.
It's a
long process. They look at it, interrogate it, and then a report is generated and submitted to the House. But in this case, the House then collapses all those structures.
And then
they can take it even in a day.
Hey.
Within 24 hours after whatever it is, they can deal with it. The report submitted to the House, and then they will say I, and everything goes. All the clauses are taken, and the bill goes through like that.
So they seem determined to push this through.
It would seem that.
Why was such a big matter for looking? Don't forget, there was a big story done by the Fourth Estate about corruption in the Scholarship Secretariat, which led to a whole uproar last year. And the subject of scholarships have become so big. Why would the government want to pass the law without proper public discourse? I mean, what is so urgent about the reform that needs a certificate of urgency?
Yeah, so that is what the ministry submitting or sponsoring the bill would have to explain to Parliament. So when you make that application to the chair that, look, this bill you are submitting to the House, it is a request of the executive or the sponsoring institution to have it taken under certificate of urgency. The Speaker would listen to you, you provide your justifications, and it will be sent to the appropriate committee to consider it. Now, the question is whether the committee, of course, we know the numbers in Parliament now, looking at it would be bold enough to say, no, this is not a matter that requires urgent attention, and so let's go and report to the House that we don't intend to take this matter under a certificate of urgency.
Okay. Okay, sure. I just wanted to know whether it could be probably that they want to implement the new recommendations ahead of the next academic year. That's why they're probably doing this under the.
I honestly don't think that this is a matter that requires the kind of urgency that they are attaching to it. You see, often we normalize exceptions as opposed to using them in rare situations.
If like there's a health emergency and we need to amend the law to allow us to import some drugs to save some people, I can see that. These things I think they are being used and abused.
Yes, I mean, we do that often, and sometimes because of the numbers,
Please call your MP and tell them that they should hold on with the scholarship.
Honorable Jifa Ablagomashi.
That's my MP.
No, you are my honorable MP.
For the village.
Honorable Ramadan.
Ramadan is your MP.
Hold on.
Zaneto Rollins.
My MP actually forwarded it to me yesterday and was happy.
He was
No,
was
guy,
happy.
what's his name?
Dafamako.
No.
Who?
Joje, what's his name?
What do you call it? Edem Agbana.
He sent it to me happily.
He's been defending it online.
He sent it to me happily. That, this is very good.
So you need to call him and tell him.
No, I'm using this platform to tell him that if he doesn't,
slow down.
if you go and vote for that, he should be careful.